What's up everyone, my name is Andy, you're watching Scorching Trident. Today we're going to be going over how to decrease your reaction time for CSGO specifically. So one of the big misconceptions about reaction time is that it's a carryover skill, meaning that it carries over in whatever thing that you need that uses reaction time. For example, a lot of people think that, you know, your visual, audio, tactile reaction times are all the same, whereas they're actually quite different. So how you want to be training your reaction time for CSGO is you want to specifically be training for shooting moving character models. So you don't want to be training on the human benchmark or that reaction time training map like aim train CSGO or whatever it's called, because what they're training you to do is react, like click when you see a color change, which is not what you want to be doing. What you want to be doing is training yourself to be shooting at moving targets as well as possible. So basically this is also my favorite general aim training map anyways. So what you just want to be doing is trying to track the the heads as well as you can. And I'm a little bit rusty because this isn't my resolution I play on and I haven't been training recently, but basically you get the idea. You just want to train by tracking their heads and clicking, and this really trains your brain to react to moving targets. And I'll be honest, it's not easy to train your reaction time. It's one of the more difficult things to train in Counter-Strike and in anything really. It does take a lot of time. What I suggest you do is get 1,000 of these kills every day, whether you split that into 500 for 2 sessions, I don't really care. But basically you don't want to ever be doing low numbers. Like you start off and you're really cold, but you just want to keep on going, and around the 300 mark you'll feel yourself getting better, both aim wise and reaction time wise. And this is a map that you're going to be spending 90% of your training on. So after you've hardwired your brain to shoot at moving targets, that's when you want to go on to the other map, and I'll see you guys over there. Alright fellas, so we're on the second map. So the first thing that you want to do is grab yourself an AWP. Then you're going to add 1 bot so that there's 2 bots in total. Then you're going to come over to the AWP range. I like to flip this over just because that's the way CTs cross mid on Dust 2, and make sure that they are holding knives just to make it as difficult as possible. So the first thing you'll probably notice is that this gap is really narrow. In fact, this is a way narrower gap than mid on Dust 2. So when you're first starting off on this, you might want to widen the gap by 1. And this is more like Dust 2 mid doors. And so let's see if we can hit them. Okay, so once you get quite good at hitting them through this, I say at least 9 times out of 10, you can narrow the gap and go for the narrowest gap. And if you can hit them consistently 8 times out of 10 with this gap, then you can pretty much hit a guy crossing Dust 2 every time, as long as you're not having to adjust your crosshair. And just to clarify, 99% of your training is done on the other map, just because that map is so good for training your brain to shoot at moving targets, whereas this map you don't really see the player models that much. Like it's just, watch this, it's just a flash and then they're gone. You don't really have a lot of time to react to them. So this map is more for warming up your reaction time and for testing your reaction time, see if you can hit them through the gap as they're crossing, not for the actual training part itself. So I'll try to hit them again. I hit him, but no kill. I think I clipped him through the wall or something. So that's a hit. So that's pretty much 2 for 2. So yeah, just to clarify, I really need to emphasize that 95% of your training is done on the other map, and like barely any training is done on this map. Also, another thing to realize is that if you have a bad equipment, a bad mouse and a bad monitor and a bad PC, you may be at a huge disadvantage just because of input lag and output lag. Like my reaction time on my BenQ monitor and my reaction time on my normal 60Hz monitor might be 30 milliseconds apart, which is absolutely huge when you're trying to op someone at a tight angle or really anything involving reaction time. So if you have bad peripherals and you can't hit these shots, don't feel too bad. But you can still train your reaction time, no doubt, on the first map. And so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, hope this helped, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.